Hey y'all, and welcome to Politibrawl. My name is Brian, and Tucker Carlson just knocks it out of the park when explaining to this young girl the true evils and horrors behind the abortion industry. Let's dive in.
I totally agree with you, but abortion is murder, obviously, and everyone knows that. And people are so into it because it's the same ritual that every civilization ever been studied has engaged in, which is human sacrifice. Obviously, why did the Incas, and it wasn't just the Incas, it was my ancestors, the Vikings, all of them killed people in order to appease the gods and give themselves more power.
Abortion isn't ritualistic.
Are you joking? They had an abortion truck outside the Democratic Convention. While you're here, maybe you could get an abortion. No, it's the most crazed level of fanaticism I've ever seen. Like when I was a kid, they would say, well, you know, there's probably some 12-year-old farm worker child who got raped and she's pregnant. And like, would you say to her she has to carry the baby? And I'd be like, oh, that's so sad. I can't, It makes me really sad. And like, I don't think she should have an abortion, but I get it. Now it's just like, no, abortion is the only right you have. It's all you have. You don't have the right to keep you from jabbing a needle in your arm with some unknown poison made by Pfizer. You don't have that right. You don't have the right to say what you really think. The only right you have is to murder your own kids? That's dark, dude. Listen to yourself. That's the saddest thing that could ever happen. Killing your children? The only thing in life, and I'm telling you this as a young person with the greatest sincerity, I mean this as a father of four, the only thing that matters is not your stupid job at Citibank. Trust me, it doesn't matter. All that matters is having children, and your children are all that will matter to you. I don't care what you say. I've lived it. I know that's true. And so anyone who's like, oh, just kill your children. You know, I feel like a lot of the problems, I'm sorry, Brookie, to upset you. Sorry. It's my dog. I don't yell at home. But no, I think it's just grotesque. It's shocking that this happens. And everyone's like, sorry. There's nothing more entitled than a female Springer Spaniel, sorry. Anyway, it's the saddest thing, and to hear people like, I know a million people have had abortions. I don't know one who's happy about it, you know, and they're really sad about it, and it's awful.
Because it's not something that people take joy in, it's something that people do out of necessity.
No,
I think you're out of touch if you think it's a ritualistic thing.
Of course it's a ritual. How many abortions are there in this country every year?
And it's a matter of human rights, as you said, and it's a matter...
There's no human right to kill people, dude. Sorry. In fact, killing people is the enemy of human rights. The human right is to live.
Not a person.
It's not a person. Okay, it's not a person. But everybody knows it is. It's just so dumb. It's not a person. It's like they won't. Why don't we show a video of an abortion? And let's see if you can sit through it. And you would feel sick to your stomach. You have. Oh, okay, maybe you liked it.
I grew up in a church that thought it would be...
No, I don't. I'm sorry I said that. No, I'm sorry. No one wants to talk about the details, ever. And the most horrific things in life, including a lot that happens in war, including transgender surgeries, definitely including abortion, it's all couched in abstract ideological terms which are designed to prevent you from facing what's actually happening. A human being is being beheaded with a knife inside a woman. And if that beheading didn't take place, that would be a person, a human being, who maybe would go on to lead some screwed up life, maybe wouldn't, but it's not up to us. We don't get to kill people simply because they're in the way, period. And if you can kill children who are in the way, you can kill the elderly who are in the way, and in the end, they'll be killing us who are in the way. You can't do that.
We as Americans, as human beings, are endowed with the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But if we don't have that right to life, folks, the rest of those rights go away. That's the greatest point Tucker can make. But Tucker, on one hand, he actually knows how to treat a dog, unlike, Hassan Piker. Because there was a little dog in this video. If you didn't notice the tail wagging in the bottom left-hand corner. But there's something that Tucker isn't getting right. There's something he isn't getting right. He's getting the empathy part right. He's getting the I need to control my own self right. Because, back when he was on Fox News, he didn't let his signature laugh out too often. Now he does it all the time because he has no restraints anymore. He doesn't need the restraints. Remember, what Tucker Carlson is doing, and a whole lot of conservatives don't really understand this, he's allowing people that have been sort of outside of the city walls, who've been sort of cast out of heaven, so to speak, he's giving them the opportunity to speak and for us to judge whether they really deserve to be on the outside and if they deserve to be on the inside. More often than not, they kind of expose themselves and let people know that, yeah, that's why we keep you at arm's length. And so I appreciate Tucker for what he does, but he's fighting the wrong battle for all the right reasons. See, here's what I mean. Tucker is dealing with a person who refuses, by definition and in her own psyche, refuses to admit that the whole idea of the right to life doesn't really matter, that abortion is indeed a good thing. And Tucker is bringing up the idea that abortion is ritualistic, and it is by definition. But this girl has no concept of ritual. She claims that she grew up in a church, which I'm guessing she grew up in some milquetoast Protestant church. I should know milquetoast Protestant. I had to leave one of those churches. No, I'm not Catholic. I'm still Protestant. But there's a fundamental problem with a lot of Protestant churches, that there's no tradition, there's no ritual, there's this weird concert feeling to the whole thing, and it feels fake. That's why so many young people are choosing Orthodoxy or the Catholic Church. And I'm getting off in the weeds on religion, but there's a point here. Everyone is religious. We all are. See, there are three great studies in this world. The study of philosophy, which is the study of what is good. The study of theology, what is God. And the study of science, what is true. Those are the three great studies. C.S. Lewis brought this up constantly. And this girl doesn't seem to be grounded in any of these, because the liberal mindset is to say that we are untethered from that. This is the unfortunate problem with the Enlightenment, that eventually you get untethered from reality. You get untethered from what is true, and the moment you untether yourself, you're floating around in space. And unless you have some own personal mechanisms to fly, congratulations, you're now cut off, and there's not an easy way back. Tucker is dealing with the girl that does not understand what ritual is, and abortion is indeed that in many cases. In the ancient world, we would sacrifice human children to appease the gods. And Tucker talks about this, but the one of the worst examples I can think of is the god Baal, where children would be sacrificed into this fiery pit underneath the statue. And they would have to play drums during the ritual to drown out the screams of the babies as they fried alive onto this hot metal statue and the fire at the base. If that doesn't make you go, oh, that's evil, I don't know what will. But Tucker isn't dealing with someone who understands that. Therefore, Tucker needs to go into a completely different direction, and he shouldn't, because this is at a turning point rally, and you need to talk about the audience matters. But this is YouTube. I get to go in a different direction here. When dealing with these kinds of liberals who think that, we don't really need all these constraints, we don't really need all these limitations, we can be as free as possible. What you don't understand is these people are running from consequences because they fear them. And ladies in the audience, correct me if I'm wrong, but let's be honest here. The two deepest fears are childbirth and being abused, particularly by a man. When those fears control you, they will change the way you think about everything. They'll change the way you think about theology. They'll change the way you think about philosophy. They'll change the way you think about science. Those fears are controlling a whole lot of young women and a whole lot of older liberal women. They have let these fears dominate their entire lives. And I think the right tactic is to show them that there's nothing to fear. But that requires a completely different level of argument. That's something that I don't think Tucker's really good at. That's not where his mind is molded around. He is out there trying to fight and make sure that the powers that be aren't abusing us, the average American citizen. That's one of his great goals. I'm not sure what mine are. Maybe mine's in education to some degree because I'm out here spewing off onto YouTube, into the ether of the internet. But understanding the fears of these young liberal women will go a long way into making them realize, oh, we don't need to fear this anymore. And that's a bit of a dangerous mindset because it says that there now needs to be something of us, our responsibilities. For instance, and I'll end with this note, the greatest challenge a man can have is conquering himself. And that also goes for you ladies out there in the audience. Conquering oneself, conquering your inner feminine, conquering your inner masculine. That's what's going to get these people to just put their fears aside. Because that means that we will no longer live in a world where we're afraid of the consequences of what is natural, and we're no longer afraid of the unnatural of abuse. Tucker is telling the audience what is obvious and what is true. But in order to get these people to get the people that don't think in these terms, in these ways, you've got to change your tactics. And I hope I outlined this in a way that will one day break through, and so someone can actually tell this young lady, you're fearing the wrong thing. You're fearing yourself. You're fearing the consequences of what is natural and what is good. It's better to make a world where we're not afraid of those consequences. Rather, we're more afraid of what happens when people don't conquer themselves. But let me know if I'm getting too obtuse on this issue. My name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on Politibro. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And hey, if you really want to support this channel, go and actually fund us on our Substack, $5 a month. It really helps out the channel. I know I'm the flashy center fielder and the talking head out there, but I've got a whole team of starting pitchers that really make this channel work. So become members if you feel led. If not, still. Hope you enjoyed this segment on Politibro. Until next time, y'all have a good one.